Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is B from Kongs R Us, and welcome to The Next Level. This is my weekly podcast show where I bring you next level things, guests, community members that do next level shit. And I'll just say it that much because the pinball world, the hack, if you will, for the last month and a half has really gotten me excited about modding stock PCBs. The possibilities are endless. And I thought no better way than to come up with the last minute topic than to ask our mystery encoder to say, hey, what do you got up your sleeve? Because I know you're a quick worker, and was messaging him late last night, and he's like, yeah, I might have some features to test. And the guy is a workhorse. He never stops. And since then, a week ago, we had over 100 plus people that were watching this stream to really talk to, and hear from him directly. And so I just feel very fortunate to at least test some of these things behind the scenes with my very limited knowledge of things. So we might be testing some things live. If you guys have some questions and some features you might be interested in seeing, this is a good opportunity to put into the chat so that you guys can see what's happening and see the possibilities. And would we do a review? I don't know. Are people still enamored with the identity of the mystery encoder? I don't know. I think early on it was really funny about the whole FU scripts and disclaimers and the readmes and the open paste. They added so much this aura to the mystery encoder that at this point, I don't even want to know who it is. I think the persona of the mystery encoder has really taken on its own identity itself. Even though he said it should be a nobody, really. I think it just goes to show that it's a community-driven thing. And part of this has really been a community-driven phenomenon. There's been people like Ben Cross that's here who's been helping people out and really taking this on and trying to own it. There's a couple other people that have been asking and contributing things. Kenneth says this has become my favorite thing on the internet, no question. It's like the mystery magician on like who it is. And would we do a reveal? I don't know. I'm gonna bring on somebody that could be the mystery encoder. Do you guys think? This person says the mystery encoder is best left as mystery encoder. That's true. We should protect the mystery encoder and his team at all costs. This is true. So, I mean, let's go ahead and bring him on right now just so that we can see, what the latest and greatest is with the biggest a-hole mother effer. I've gone back to the point where I can't say F-bombs anymore because I lost my co-host in Rev. But mystery encoder, man, what's going on?
I gotta go. I gotta get on Pdubs stream. You're confusing for me now.
Is he? Oh man. So yeah, you gotta jump over. You gotta jump over and say what up. What's going on?
Yeah,
What's happening
I
on
like
that side of the
Pdubs more.
fence? What's that?
I said, I like Pdubs more. Like, you're an
I know
asshole,
you
so I
you
can't stick
probably
around
do.
here.
What a big asshole. Going on at the same time that I would be,
Um,
he would do something like that. Us YouTubers trying to capture attention from each other. Did you ever think you'd be
yeah,
like capturing the attention of all these content creators to really cover your topic?
no, because I said fuck all the YouTubers.
That's right. You did. Has it been as much of a pain working with me, not really being as
No,
technical?
I no, not at all. That was more about the egotistic people that you're not included in that, but there are some people in this community that are content creators that all of us can agree kind of have gotten an ego from their status.
Oh, nice. And I mean, are you gonna start calling people out particularly, or is this one of those things where you want to keep
Uh,
it anonymous? Or
I
like,
don't
I mean,
know.
you always have
One
carte blanche
of
to
them's
say
a
F you to
jackhole.
anybody you want on this channel. So
Yeah, I said one of them's a jackhole.
we know who the jackhole is for sure. The jackhole of all trades. There it is. Look at that. F YouTubers exactly. And console fanboy. What a big fuckhole, right? Weren't you trying to get this
Oh,
guy's
look,
attention?
it's yeah. Look, it's Zohar. Fuck you.
That's all he wanted to say to you, by the way, console fanboy, was to make sure that you had his attention so that he can give you a big fuck you. So there it is. We're talking about shills. Hi, Pdubs raid. Look at this. Rainwater Game says, are we supposed to guess who this guy is? No, we mentioned that just a little bit earlier when we started the stream, that the aura of the mystery encoder is exactly that. It's an aura. It's something that we want to protect the identity. But you mentioned this the last time we talked previously, that you are, even though you kind of taken on the persona of the mystery encoder, is it still kind of weird having this now moniker that people
Yeah,
identify you as?
I wasn't expecting to like assume an alternate identity to communicate with people and stuff, but it all kind of just fell in place that way. Like, I mean, when we released this, I'd said, or when I released this in that original paste, it was kind of like, this comes with zero support. I'm not going to be around. Bye.
Yeah.
And then people start having problems, and you're like, well, that sucks. I don't want people to not be able to do this. Like, I want everyone to be able to do it. But as much of an asshole as I am, as much as I say fuck you to everybody, it's like, at the same time, if it's a problem with what I'm doing versus what they're doing, in terms of like, there's really something broken in this script, that's not their fault. So,
That's true. I mean,
but
there's a lot
I
of
mean that,
user error. Is there not? Like,
yeah,
isn't that crazy how
yeah.
much
I
user error is
mean,
coming up?
there's people doing some stupid shit. Yeah, it sucks.
So I kind of warned you too, by the way. Like at some point,
I
the
know.
easier you can make this, the more people that shouldn't be doing this feel that entitlement. So I mean, there have been some posts, by the way. I think our Facebook community is probably one of the most worst offenders of it. But I mean, this is an opportunity just to get it off your chest. Like, what do you want to say to the posters on, folks having issues with their shit because it's their fault?
Oh, learn where the search button is. Like, I think there was other people in the community have even made like PSA posts about this, saying like, look, there's a search button on that group. There's 100 posts with the same question. Use the search button.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, use the search button, do a little bit of research. I mean, Google is your best friend. In fact, so one of the reasons why I had Mystery Encoder on was because we've been testing out some potential new features. Version 3.1, which was a hot fix to version 3, which was released just about 2 weeks ago in a couple of days. You've already did some patches and some updates, and I wanted to test it out, see what are some of the features and launchers that we had. And we've been also playing around with some new stuff. If you can't tell what that little shiny thing in the background is, that, my friends, is a Raspberry Pi. And it's a particular one that gave us a lot of issues. But we've been playing around with some future updates and things. So, man, you don't ever stop. And I wanted to eventually get to that. But, man, what really drives you? What's the engine that really keeps pushing you to keep developing, doing more features, all this good stuff?
I don't know.
You don't know the challenge,
Question
right?
to answer when you're. Yeah, at some point it's the challenge. At some point it's can you do it? And I mean, also, like I said before, some of this is cool for me too, and sharing the experience with my family and my kids and everybody else. I mean, I haven't seen Laird post any new videos. That's a little bit disappointing, right? He's not.
I know. Part of it is like getting it up and running,
His
and then the video,
reactions.
the
Yeah,
reaction,
no, I mean, seeing people's reactions is definitely like, just seeing some of these people and loading up their tables and such, and everything is pretty interesting. And I mean, that's a definite driver, seeing people actually interested in this stuff. I mean, seeing you interested in it. You modded your cabinet with a PC and then reverted it back to a PCB just so you could play with this stuff because you had that same curiosity and interest, and like thought it was cool, and that alone means something, right? Like
yeah.
that's kind of appreciation towards the work that goes into this, if you're willing to go back and do that.
I did. It was dead. Like my pinball machine, for folks that don't know, was completely modded with the PC to play all the Zen pinball tables. I had modded with the Saint Smart board. I got the solenoids, the Geek Pie working in with the plunger, and then I was gonna sell it after I got my other big pinball machines. I have a big giant big ass Stern pinball machine outside, and then I tricked out my At Games Legends pinball. It's like, do I need a third pinball machine that's a PC based one? And this mod, by the way, has convinced me to potentially not sell my Arcade1Up Pinball. I'm now just curious, for the sake of science, like what else we can do with these PCBs. So you've actually sold me on keeping my Arcade1Up. I was gonna sell this, honestly. This was gonna be like on Facebook Marketplace. No lie, like probably a week or two after, like pretty soon, I had already like taken pictures and photos and did a little like photo shoot, and it was ready. It was ready to go. But now I'm
He has to
curious.
be one of the people included in the next paste for trying to sell it.
But I wasn't gonna sell it with your shit on it. I was gonna sell it with my shit on it. So I was gonna be like, I was curious what it would be worth with a PC mod inside, with their oh, I didn't even know what I would have done, actually, because I don't think I would have put it,
Yeah.
because I had my Steam account on there because I was playing online there. I don't know how I
Oh,
would have done that.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I've done,
Definitely,
honestly.
unless
So
you
that
run
would
like
have been,
VPX or something.
yeah. And that was before like I knew VPX and get everything running. But yeah,
Yeah,
I was on the
I
fence of getting rid of it, pretty sure. But we got a
I
super chat
haven't
from
ran
Cat
VPX
Donkey.
myself.
You haven't played with so you haven't done VPX on a PC at
No,
all.
no, I haven't done any VPX yet. No, but
Oh,
I see people having issues with it all the time, so I know that it's not extremely user friendly.
yeah,
I mean, I don't
absolutely.
think I would have issues with it, but
Yeah,
but it's
I
still
think
one of those things
you'd be the
where
person that could, build your own table if you really had the know-how and wanted to do that and could fix the physics of stuff. So it's taking a lot of the table authors and try to get it working, and then eventually putting it into like a nice front end that you can run it in your pinball machine. So like the back end of getting it up and running, not
nostalgia.
terrible, but like the configuration of the front end, that's where it gets like complicated. But all right, Cat
Yeah,
Donkey says Mystery Encoder
nostalgia.
is
Find
low
me
key my hero. You're somebody's hero, man. In the home arcade world, you never expected to have this much fun when you
I'm
originally bought your
nobody.
Star Wars pin. You're nobody. You are Cat Donkey's
I'm
hero, man.
nobody.
There it is, a 4.99 super
No,
chat.
nobody. That's awesome.
Oh man, and console
Yeah,
fanboy sent
I'm
me.
hon-
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm honestly glad that people are actually enjoying these tables because I was talking on that Discord with somebody else recently, not even in that channel, about I was personally disappointed in these pinball tables when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Every Arcade1Up product I've bought, I think I had buyer's remorse after purchasing it,
Yeah.
and then like this is kind of a way to uh, cure my own buyer's remorse, I guess, right? Like,
Yeah. To upgrade your shit. We know that the Arcade1Up products are good to a certain point, but there is disappointment for those that have high expectations of something that's super amazing. And Philly Chick, by the way, she says she's
yeah,
been following this and thinks she's probably one of the few unlucky people who will F it up. So I mean, to somebody who is still on the fence of doing this,
uh,
what advice would you give to
I
Philly
mean,
Chick?
there's no way to brick it, so you really have no risk. I mean, at the point where you can revert back to AFM, you know this. You've had to do it what 3 times now at least.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like when there's no risk involved outside of the fact if your PCB is bad,
Yeah.
and if it is, Arcade1Up replaces it.
Yep.
You know, just do it. You can literally just plug a USB cable in, open the launcher, push a button, it installs. That's it. If you brick or if you mess something up, go back to stock and try again.
That's right. That's
It's
exactly
not.
right. So you Philly Chick, if you're listening, there is very little chance at all that you can brick it because you have the ability to use the tools to go back to stock and reflash it if something happens and goes wrong with it. So there's very, very little risk. In fact, just like to show you how resilient the PCBs are, to your point about like hardware potentially breaking, my PCB for my Star Wars, as soon as I took it out, has been sitting under a pile of crap on my desk with wires and things touching and exposed for like months, and I didn't touch it, and I still plugged it in and it still worked, and it's dangling right now from the inside of the monitor still, and it still works. So like I've abused my PCB probably more than anybody, and it still works. So if you're still touching it and using it and it's working at the moment, I think you can feel confident in this particular mod. And Console Fanboy is really interesting. So now you have a new detective. You have Detective Console Fanboy now that's really trying to figure out who
Detective
you are.
Zohar.
Mm-hmm. Zohar, and you sent me a message, by the way. And do you want me to reveal who it is in the chat? Like, who do you think this is? I can tell you that I don't think this person even cares about Arcade1Up Pinball, by the way. So I don't even think you know who this person is, Mr. Encoder. All right, Mr. Encoder, do you know, does the name Mason Conrad mean anything to you?
No, I don't even. Nope. I don't know anybody. I already said before that I'm new to this community and don't really talk anywhere and just kind of sit back and watch.
So that's a big fat negatory, Console Fanboy. And Mason's off with Retro Ralph right now at the Pinball Expo. So I mean, like, you can't be at two places at once. So incorrect. I just love saying that Zohar is wrong. It's pretty fun. But thanks for the guess. And I wouldn't reveal who it is anyways, but I think it's fun just to say, no, Zohar, you're wrong. Brad D's in the house. He says you got V3 of the mod applied for your nephew last weekend. Looks like works Lorna charm and super user friendly. Thank you. Plan to patch with 3.1 soon. So 3.1, I have the log here that I can actually share on the screen. Can you just give us like a high level, what was the hot fix between version 3.0 and 3.1? I can throw it up here and
if I
kind
can
of zoom in.
remember.
I have it here right for you. Look.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People had solenoids crashing, right? Like they'd be
Mm-hmm.
unstable, solenoids would stop crashing. There was some code changed in the launcher that made that start working. The kernel change in the bootloader was actually working with someone on Discord who was
Mm-hmm.
having issues with the network not connecting. And
Yeah.
it turns out that I guess storage changed between PCBs, and we had no idea about it, right? Because we don't have hundreds of pictures of these things or anything like that, or no information. So discovered
Yeah.
that there are some different PCBs out there, which is interesting. Um,
And a lot of these are just kind of
and
fixes still
then
for people having like loading issues. It's not like new features. It's just, again, helping
yeah,
those that are
well,
still continuing to have issues.
so when you initially load the V3.1, I don't know if you saw it, but when you click that launch payload button, the DMD turns on and has the Linux
Mm-hmm.
penguins on it and shows you
Yeah, I
kind of
did.
what the mod's doing. And
I
so
did.
that really
I
helps. Yeah,
yeah.
that really helps troubleshoot too, because now we know, like, if the network's not connecting, look at the DMD and tell me what it says. Like
Mm-hmm.
what point did the mod get to, and what was the issue? And that was, I think that's a game changer for being able to troubleshoot in general. It may not be important to a lot of people, but it's extremely important for me to be able to help people that are having problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's
Um,
awesome. I actually saw that and I took a picture of it, so I'm going to show it on the screen in just a second. But for folks that are curious, when you're doing the steps, like step 1, 2, and 3, like uploading the payload, before you would do those things, but you wouldn't see what was happening on your pinball machine. So the DMD has actual prompts that tells you step by step what section is happening, and you put little cute penguins that aren't there anymore. But did I take a picture of it? I think I did. Where is it? It was good. Oh, maybe I didn't take a picture of
Somebody
it.
asked if you should use the old hack before going to this, and the answer is you can go straight to V3.1 if you've never hacked before.
Yeah, exactly. So
Don't do
every
3.0, find
iteration, you don't
3.1.
need you don't need the old ones unless you don't have the APKs and things. So I mean, at this point in time, like the hack's been out for a while, so we are encouraging folks to use the community, search Facebook, kind of make some friends and ask nicely, right? Don't expect that these things are going to be given to you just because like you're coming at this point in the game. But that's one of the things that you did was like removing the APK dumps as well too. At this point, they're out there. They just won't be distributed anymore through this particular hack anymore, which I think makes sense based on how you were going. We really want to make this at a point where we were supporting, the table companies, and the Zen feature, the
Yeah.
hidden feature that was an afterthought, has really become one of the main features now that you're really focusing on, right?
Yeah, and one of the interesting outcomes of the stance that's been taken since the last time that I was on here with you is that now it seems like the Arcade1Up subreddit has started to accept posts about this, whereas before they were just deleting anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I noticed recently that there's actually an active post on there now, so now people that aren't in the Facebook groups are allowed to discuss this and go over it as well, and that's,
Yeah.
I think that's the important part of that anti-piracy stance, is that it allows this to actually be this public thing that's not underground, that everybody has access to.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
kind of what our approach was.
Cool. All right. Well, we got another super chat from the Code Overs Wins that says, for appreciation of the LMGTFY.com and the Bitcoin fun, your friend, the code always wins. But we have a couple of guests in the backstage, by the way, that have been part of the community. You have some friends here that have been here that are shouting out. I got another super chat from Jerry Dunlap that says, trust me, it can be done. I'm computer illiterate and figured it out. Thanks to the community, both of you, it brought new life to machine. Thanks, Jerry D, for the super chat. Appreciate that. So people are saying, give me the DMD mystery encoder. I want to bring in a couple of folks that have helped make this happen. One of the guys here is Mr. CJ Buzzy, who's been in the Discord and in the Facebook groups.
What's up, guys?
Kind of helping this going on. What's up, CJ Buzzy? Who are you? How are you?
Doing all right. How you doing, B?
Yeah, for folks that don't know who you are, like, what's your involvement been in this Arcade1Up Pinball hack?
When the configs first, the files first, people talking about the config files, and
Yeah.
I think it was K-Gal that threw out a pack of them. She says that I just went ahead and renamed all of them for you. I went ahead and went in and changed them so the solenoids that were firing only on the left side of the pinball machine started firing in the right zones.
Yeah. So you were helping with the solenoid configs, right? So I mean, that's just an example of CJ Buzzy, who was took this and started making it his own. So he's been one of the community who's been helping out. I want you to hang out for a sec because there's a couple other folks that I want to introduce to the stream too.
Yeah,
Mystery Encoder, one of your favorite people in the entire world that really excites you. Laird, are you excited to be on YouTube? Laird, what up, man?
What's going on?
Yeah, Laird, Krug, what is going on? Mystery Encoder shouted you out at one point saying you were one of the inspirations for keeping him going. He said he missed you. He misses your excitement videos.
Well, I'm definitely going to do some more with my good buddy Brad, and I'm actually on a business trip right now, so I'm on the side of a freeway to Buc-ee's down in Texas. So if anybody knows where that's at, but yeah, I like making those little videos, and it was just kind of neat to be able to kind of figure my way out through some of it because. That stuff was like the Starship Enterprise to me on the version 1 and 2. So I was kind of proud that I could figure it out. And then when people needed help figuring it out themselves, I mean, that's where it was really neat as far as an experience was concerned. Just helping people figure out, hey, they can do it too. That was fun. I felt like a big kid. So major appreciation.
Yeah. So Mystery Encoder, here he is. You're missing him. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no. Your videos were definitely something that gives drive to continue to want to do this stuff, right? It's not even a matter of showing appreciation for what's been done, but rather your excitement to it being done that makes this all that much more fun, right? Like seeing the community work together, seeing CJ Buzzy and yourself and everybody else communicate on this stuff and not be assholes to each other and everything else, even though I call you guys all assholes. Is kind of what is going to make this all continue to happen, right? Like that's where the motivation comes from.
Yeah, and the community will keep driving this as much as you might be the main idea person making this happen. I saw Laird early on. People were asking for help, and you were helping them. And CJ Buzzy, same thing with you. Once people were asking, you were consistently helping, and there's like innovation, which kind of breeds new innovation and ideas because it seems like there's a bigger roadmap for all this too. So just really quickly, CJ Buzzy, when you were kind of helping out with the solenoid configs, did you yourself have like a wish list of things that you saw happen or things that you wanted to see?
Creature from the Black Lagoon was on the short list, that and getting that DMD working. So
yeah, that's a good short list.
But when it came to what Mystery Encoder did to the community before he came on the scene with his version 1, the whole community was talking about what a waste of money these are and how much they regretted their purchase, and people were like already talking about the Legends Ultimate and how much better it is. And then he comes on and just drops a bomb on the whole scene. And once I got my hands on it and put it on my pinball machine, I felt like I wanted to contribute something back too, since
nice.
He had already did. He just like the guy came out of left field and just like completely changed the community. So I wanted to give back too, in any way I could.
Yeah, no, that's great. And Laird, do you have any kind of like quick wish list things now that you've done it that you would like to see out of this before we move forward?
Wish list things. I mean, man, I could think of stuff all day long, but I don't know if they would be able to come to fruition. I know I missed the first part of it, but I think the DMD is a big wish list item on the pinball. But I think I'm just going to keep making my goofy little videos, and maybe I'll discover something that, I mean, that's the fun of it, is getting a cool toy and figuring out things about it that man, this would be cool, or I wonder if this would be possible. I'll tell you what a wish list item would be is, could somebody figure out maybe we do our own Wi-Fi module on there and be able to connect with the Zen? I don't know. That's the creativity part. I can't figure it out though.
All right, cool. Well, the good wish list items. So Pdubs Arcade Laughs is in the chat saying, "Where's the raid party?" I saw a lot of people coming over from Pdubs stream, so we appreciate him. In fact, I think he might have raided over himself. It might be coming over to say hello. What's going on, Dubs?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
There he is, Mr. A-hole himself.
So let me tell you a funny story real quick. If people were just watching my channel, we just did a live stream unboxing and review of that new Arcade1Up Pong tabletop. And after the live stream ended, just a couple minutes later, my wife got home from grocery shopping, and I went downstairs. And gentlemen, we always bring the groceries in, right? They do the shopping, we bring all the bags in. So as I was bringing the bags in, she goes, I was smiling. She said, "What's up?" I was like, "That Pong tabletop arrived. It's in my office." And my wife is a huge lover of Pong. And she's like, "Oh, that's cool." That's what she said. So then I go back in and out from the car. I come back up into my office and it's missing. It's gone. It's not in my office. She came and grabbed it, and she's down in the little her little sitting room now. She's playing Pong with a huge smile on her face. And I think that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. Like not every cabinet, not every product is for everybody, right? And the fact that she is so excited about it makes me happy. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, because that's weird for me.
Yeah. And also I wanted to say, Mystery Encoder, you are killing it, man. You have made me like my Arcade1Up pinball machines because I wasn't a big fan of these products. And you've done a fantastic job with these nice little tweaks. Let's just call them tweaks. So,
that's a good word for it. Not bad.
Which one are we going after next, Pdubs?
I don't know. It's your call, man.
I want to put you on the spot and ask.
I'm here for fun. I'm just here for fun. What do you got next? What do you got coming up next?
So I want to put you on the spot and ask which one's next.
What? Which pinball machine?
No. Which Arcade1Up machine?
Oh, like
if you had a wish list of like maybe hacking or tweaking another Arcade1Up, so the thing that Mr. Encoder has really unlocked that only very, very sneaky has done is really using the stock PCB to add more things to it, right? It's not a PC mod, it's not a Raspberry Pi mod, it's really truly using the hardware. And so he's unlocking possibilities for future mods using the stock PCBs for most machines. And I think he's built up a stockpile. So his request to you is if you had an Arcade1Up that could use some tweaking, right? Do you have something that might be fun and that you might consider?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, whenever I've modded Arcade1Ups, I've always gone the full gut route. You know what I mean? Throw a Pi or a PC in there. So if I just wanted to soft mod and just add a few games, I mean, that's kind of tough. Like, what would be cool? I don't know. Like, I'm on this 1944 kick, 1942. And it would be kind of cool to, like, add those games to, like, I don't know, if you had the Final Fight cabinet, or if you wanted to make a 1942 cabinet, you put all the 42, 44, 40 XX, put all those on there. I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, I would like to be able just to throw a few ROMs on some cabinets. I think that would be cool, but but honestly, if I'm gonna mod an Arcade1Up arcade machine, usually I'll throw a Pi or a PC in there because that way I just have thousands of games, right? Versus a few. So it's tough. That's a tough question. You know what I mean?
A lot of people like the Arcade1Up interface for set of games, right? So I guess this is a question for Mystery Encoder, because people were saying stuff like, could I merge two different PCBs if I own them into a singular interface? Is that something? I don't know if we asked this question last time, but is that possible where it could like be optionally bootloaded?
I think the response to that previously was to Rev 5, and it was kind of along the lines of that anything that enables piracy is probably something that is going to want to be avoided.
Right.
If that means, makes sense. I don't know. It's gray area. We can dump the APKs and allow them to be installed on different machines. That's already possible with MVC and Big Blue because of Code Always Wins work.
Yep. That's what he's talking about right there. Code Wins is talking about it.
Yeah. So I mean, they can already do that if they look into how he's doing those things. He's already released videos on it and everything else, and that was one of the things Rev 5 asked about, was combining those cabinets. And it's like, you can already do it. You just need to look up how to do it. He hasn't made tools to do it for you. So
yeah.
What games don't overlap? What games don't overlap on those two cabinets? It
would be Marvel Superheroes and Coda, the Children of the Atom. And then the War of the Gems, and I think the Mutant Apocalypse games. Those are like the four.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would agree with that. I think that would be a nice one to get done, to combine those cabinets. I like someone just put in the live chat, like T2 hasn't even come out yet. But if you could get some additional games on the T2 cabinet to make that gun cabinet worth it.
Yeah.
The biggest piece of critical feedback so far on that cabinet from everyone is there's only one game, so it'd be cool to have some more gun games on there.
Yeah, the new cabinets are definitely going to be more work, is the way that I'll put it. Arcade1Up changed the hardware very significantly in all of these new cabinets to support some of these games that they're coming out with. So, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely going to be different. And I'm sure the Code Always Wins will be looking at it too, and me and him will be chatting about it, or so on, and me and everyone else. And I'm sure I'm sure somebody will figure something out. But I think that this whole thing of just going after these in general is opening doors for what these machines are capable of without gutting them and putting pies in them.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I did a mod on one of these with a pie, I was honestly disappointed because this was back when they were like, what, $250 for a cabinet, but you spend that $250 only to spend another $200 to change every single button, change the monitor, change all this stuff.
Just a pure
you don't even
gut.
have the same cabinet anymore. Yeah, you have wood. Like I could have went to Home Depot and just put wood together, and then the people changing all the graphics, like. You just spent another $175 on vinyl that you already had on there. Like, you might as well just take some wood, cut it, and build it. If you're going to just gut literally every single piece but the wood.
Let me ask CJ Buzzy and Laird, have you guys done other Arcade1Up mods? Have you been somebody that's gutted and done kind of your own mod with new graphics and a pie or anything? CJ Buzzy first.
Yeah, actually, I got a Street Fighter 2 Gen 1 over there with a Pi 4 in it. It started out as a Pi 3, and then when the Pi 4 came out, I threw it on there to get Dreamcast games on there. Got to get that Soul Calibur. But yeah, that's really the big difference between Arcade1Up and modding, just like the stock PCBs, is being able to add. Like you were able to add CRT filters, and you were able to add bilinear filtering and things that you just couldn't do with the original stock PCB. And they've caught up a little bit, but you still can't beat what you can do with the Pi 4. Add the CRT look, and it just has that look from behind. Yeah, well,
This is true. Jacob's saying when you had them at like to $100 or $200, it was okay. But now people are modding $600 cabs, kind of like me. Like I bought Tron actually recently, and I have it on pre-order. Nice. But I do have plans to mod it because I love the way it looks, and I didn't want to like redo it. So I don't know. Maybe before I mod it, I think I still have my stack of PCBs that I'm gonna hope and hold on to see if there's anything else that's worth doing with them. But people are still trying to guess your identity. Somebody thinks it's Nostalgia.
Yeah. Nostalgia owes me a Pac-Man pinball ROM now that we're going to get running on the table since he mentioned putting Pac-Man on it.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
If there is a Pac-Man pinball game that is in existence, it will run on this table at this point because Nostalgia said it.
Oh, nice. The Tech Buzz is here, by the way. He asked about Legends Pinball, and I think we kind of covered that last week. Where you're not really interested in the Legends stuff at all, for folks that are kind of new to watching it. Do you have any interest in modding any other product outside of Arcade1Up, NBSX, Ad Games, any of that other good stuff?
I don't think so. I don't know. The Arcade1Up is the only one that's really like locked down in some way to where there's a reason to want to do it versus like at games. I feel like they already have an online store.
It's already open.
All this crap, Yeah, so it's not as fun or interesting to me. I am interested in. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you like messing around with Android. I mean, the iArcade runs on an Android system. You just gotta figure out how to get that special connector to get the USB on the motherboard. And you might be in business.
If it wasn't an ugly piece of shit, maybe. I can see.
But think of the kind of
giant
games.
Ugly thing sitting behind you to the left of you right now. Like it's just an eyesore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
It has nice graphics, but yeah,
Like, it's okay.
His disappointment showing.
You just sound so hostile.
Like,
It's just
shit
so,
on everything.
he's just so angry. It's just
ME is an
arcade
angry
cabinet.
mother effer, Pdubs. So welcome to the world of the no filter mystery encoder. Laird, have you done any modding to any of your Arcade1Ups?
Not to the Arcade1Ups. I have bought one of the control decks that has, a variety of games on it, and I switched it out to have a Pi 3 on it. And really, I was just messing with more hardware stuff. So I'm extremely novice in that area. And what I've enjoyed is finding different ways that people have gone about tackling the problems with the hardware, because I'm still just learning that stuff. So, but software wise, this was really the first one that I'd done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. So Dubs, let me ask you: Have you done the updated version 3 hack? I know you did the version 1, right?
I
So
did-
you
I
still have
did
the
the-
little icons.
Yeah, I did the version 1. I haven't done version 3 yet because I think that came out right before. Well, no, I think it came out right before I had to go on my Baltimore trip and stuff. So, but now that I'm back, I'm hoping to do it. I'll be doing it probably by this weekend. I'm excited to check out. It's
Be honest,
version
you
3.
couldn't figure out how to click the button.
Oh, come on, it's 3 buttons. Stop it. I love software mods. Like, for instance, like the high-low hack on the MVSX. I mean, I think that's the way to go. I mean, people spent $500 on that cabinet, right? And to do that kind of software mod, they were able to add a lot more enjoyment to that cabinet without breaking their bank account. I mean, think about it, guys. If a lot of these new Arcade1Up cabinets are going to be $600, $700, $800 a pop, and if the typical cost of modding is like $200 to $300 to turn it into something you really, really love, are you going to be doing it if you already initially invested $600, $700, $800?
Yeah,
that's a good question for you,
What if-
B. Like Tron, you just spent $700 on Tron. Are you ready to go up to
you got a
$1,000 on
Tron?
that cabinet?
I pre-ordered a Tron, so yeah, it's coming. And
I want one.
yeah, it's just a pretty cabinet. I've always loved the way it looks,
Exactly.
and I'm a very shallow gamer, and so to your point, that's why I liked Arcade1Up Pinball. I like it, just the proportions and everything were really great. And but yeah, it's just 2 games that I didn't grow up playing with, and so I love fight sticks. So I mean, I think I'm more curious than anything. I'm really curious about the controls for the spinner. I'm really curious about the flight stick and how it's wired into the encoder. So part of my exploratory just for fun and what I do different on YouTube from all the other content creators is like, how could you do it? Like, will I? Maybe. I don't know if I'll forever have it, modded, but I'm gonna explore it. I'm definitely gonna test it out and see what encoders might be compatible with it. So that's gonna be the test. That'll be fun. Like, I think I'm always like one of those day one people where before I even plug it in to play it stock, I'm already opening it up to see if I can mod it. I did that with my Ad Games Legends. I did that with my pinball machine. Like, before I even played it stock, because I know what it can do stock. It's about what's possible. That's the fun part. That's the science part, mystery encoder, right? Like, doesn't that drive you? Like, what the hell can this do?
Yeah, absolutely. There's also
If you had a
people
Tron, what
saying
would you
I'm
do?
very, very sneaky. Well, I don't know what I would do to Tron, but
Yeah.
for clarification, I'm not very, very sneaky, but him and I do talk.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, no. If I had a Tron, I don't know what I would do to it. I'd play it.
You play it. Yeah, that's right. Good. How about Laird or CJ Buzzy? Have you guys bought any new Arcade1Ups recently?
No, I haven't bought any other than the pinball. I'm thinking about a couple, but I want to see what they come out with a little bit later. Maybe my game room's packed. I mean, my wife is like, "Where are you going to put all this stuff?" And I can't hide too many more in her closet.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. All right, cool. How about you, CJ Buzzy? Did you have anything on pre-order? Have you ordered anything?
No, giving a thought to Big Blue. I keep circling around to it. I was looking at Marvel vs. Capcom for a while once they came out with the hack for it, but now it turns out Big Blue can do the same thing. So now I'm circling back around. So I don't know.
There's a lot of random stuff going on. Go ahead, Mr. Encoder.
I'm surprised no one mentioned Simpsons.
I have a Simpsons on order too.
Person is interested in Simpsons.
I have one on order. I bought one.
I ordered one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know why. I think I got it once I saw the Walmart 529 one and was just worried that that might be
Oh.
like the cheapest one we would ever get. And I was like, all right, I just jumped on it
I
because I didn't.
I pre-ordered it from Best Buy when they were still full price, just because
With the stool?
I'm just a fan of The Simpsons. I guess it's for the stool. I don't know, man. I just wanted the Simpsons cabinet. It had the artwork on it. It's cool for me.
It's a good cab. It's a good. It's and the coin doors look really
I
good on
love
the
the
new
corn
cabs, too.
doors.
Dude, they
Oh
need
my
to sell
God,
those
corn
separate.
doors.
Huge improvement. Huge
All right,
improvement.
so we're about
Call 'em, John
45
D,
minutes.
Make it happen,
I want to
man.
point out.
Somebody
Go ahead.
3D print some corn doors, please. We're gonna
Yeah.
need some 3D printed
I
corn
was
doors.
going to point out that I can't see your other monitor off to the right there, B.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now. But Laird, we do have some folks. I want to give a shout out to Retro 530, Laramie Griffith.
Yeah.
He does have a 3D printing store, and he does 3D printing coin doors that are pretty freaking awesome. So definitely
Oh
check
yeah,
them
they're
out.
great. They're great. Yep.
All right, so I have a solo like just stream right now, so you can see it's kind of blocked, but I'm running Zen Pinball. Some people were just mentioning some features and updates. So anybody notice anything fun happening in the background right there? This is the Walking Dead pinball machine, and anybody notice anything about the DMD? Yeah.
It's filling up the
Whoa.
entire screen, buddy.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, Laird. Does that look exciting? I know there's a little bit of a glare there, but there it is.
There's some stuff happening in the background there.
There is. That's right. You have a thing. Oh wait, let me exit the game and see what happens. Watch this. So this is running V3 right now, a modified version of 3.1. So one of the things we were talking about last week was once you have this set up, one of the future things that Mystery Encoder was talking about was that dynamic backglass. In fact, Pdubs showed that on one of his streams that he saw that there was a dynamic backglass going on. So I have a freaking Raspberry Pi 4, a very overkill Raspberry Pi 4 here. You don't need a Pi 4. You can use a Pi 0. Mystery Encoder is going to kick my ass for using a Pi 4 with this. But we did it. I tested it out right now, and Mystery Encoder did some amazing stuff. So let's change over to Portal, for example, and load it up. And we have a dynamic backglass that's going to change with full screen DMD. What?
Oh wow, that is wild. All right,
very cool,
amazing.
I think that was the last missing piece that people were hoping for. So I mean, yeah.
By God, he's hacked the Matrix.
Few notes to that DMD and the plunger are things that Chris Reed might like, which is that it's going to read from configuration files in order to set the DMD size. So for people that take, or cut that black panel that covers up the rest of the DMD, you could technically use the configuration file to expand it to the entire screen.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like even the covered up part.
Yeah, and so I know it's hard to see, but the way that it's happening was like right now, if you're running the Zen pinball tables, the normal DMD is on the top left corner of the screen, and it was just mirrored on the DMD before. So he found a way to like crop it and stretch it to fill actually that space. So you actually still have the DMD on the playfield, unfortunately. So it's not like just redirecting it, but it still looks badass. And he's filling the entire thing. When we were testing it last night, it was like slowly getting there because he thought it was going to take so long. So like Emmy, you thought it was going to be a lot harder to do this, but you did this shit in like 30 minutes. I was just like, hey, I'm going on stream tomorrow. Like, you have anything new to show me?
Yeah, and I was like, give me an hour and we'll see.
Awesome. An hour. That's all this guy needs. It's crazy.
Wow.
Well, that was what was funny is I've been trying to get this to work for like a week. I stopped working on it. And then I'm like, he messages me last night, and it was like 11 at night, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he asks me if I have anything, and I was like, I don't know, maybe in an hour I might have something. And so like 1 a.m. rolls around, and I send you videos of a bunch of stuff, and then you're like, okay, dude, you should probably go to sleep. It's like really late there. And then I ended up not going to sleep and sent you even more videos of other things.
He was working till like 2-3 a.m. last night, just getting this, just to sneak peek it. And so this is not ready. This is not prime time yet. This is not in V3.1. This is just something that I wanted to share with this stream and this audience to show like CJ Buzzy, Laird, the first things you guys asked for on your wish list was the DMD. So I mean, like, look, V4 might be closer than we expected just because it's already in a test phase. It's not something yet that's like automatically going. And a couple people are asking about the Pi, right? So the Pi is not needed for the DMD. It's only needed for the dynamic backglass. And so I was going to actually install my original backglass back that I had, but I cracked my damn screen. So
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean, we were gonna do a live modding session, and then everything was just like nothing ever works. Like 5 minutes, like 30 minutes before the stream, I was getting with Mr. Encoder and saying, "Oh, I don't have a freaking USB to micro USB cable." But
the way that connection is rigged to that PCB is ridiculous.
Now, my question for the panel is, and keep in mind, guys, I've been out of town. Is this version 3? All the games are running 60 frames per second, but they're all still 720p, right? Like, I heard something that like some of the games you could go 1080p. Is that correct? But then the performance kind of drops. Is that correct, or how is it?
So on 3.1, when I updated it, I'm able to run everything in 1080p. I've got all the bumpers working. I haven't found a game yet that the bumpers aren't working. So, I mean, audio's good, visual's good. But I've heard of other people who were talking about after it sat for a day or two, then it seemed like the software got cozy and everything started running fine. I don't know what the wizardry behind that is, but they said after they played it for a couple days, it started working better. But my experience has been it was super easy to update to 3.1 and everything just worked.
Okay. That's good info to know. Yeah, because what I like about this whole process, especially you're able to buy the games, right? So you're supporting Zen, so you don't have to worry about them coming after you. But also, what I like about this is if you're the kind of person who, VPX Future Pinball like blows your minds, it sounds too difficult. Like, this is actually a fairly easy process, right? Where you can kind of almost get the same experience. You just have to remember that, yes, you are getting the Android versions of these games, which, let's be honest, the PC versions are better. But still, this is a great way to get a bunch of great pinball games. And even if you have to add the Pi for the backglass, I don't see that being... How difficult of a process was that to get that up and running, B?
Well, this version,
this
test version was a shit show. I'll tell you that much, because I built my Raspberry Pi last night for the first time out of box.
That is B's fault because he used the goddamn Pi 4.
100% my fault, because I didn't have a Pi Zero like he told me to. Some people are asking because the Pi Zero 2 just came out. I think any of those new so it's either you said it was a Pi Zero, like the Pi Zero, Pi Zero W, Pi Zero 2, or a Pi 4, not a 3B plus, right?
Yeah. I mean, so really any Pis but the 3B plus should work, but I mean, the reality is probably only the Pi Zero W and Zero 2 is going to be the only ones that are like officially supported.
Yeah. So if you're looking at potentially purchasing something to do a dynamic backglass, try to get a Pi Zero or the Pi Zero 2 that's coming out in a couple of weeks.
I just realized that my voice is lagging behind and I'm talking like a second or two after I start talking. But the other thing is, if people do buy that Pi Zero W, I recommend buying the starter kit that comes with the power adapter and the
Cana kit.
Micro USB connect. Yeah. Because they're going to need that in order to be able to connect to the PCB, right? Because you have to be able to connect to the Pi Zero and then connect a cord to the PCB from there, and both sides are micro USB. So usually you have a USB-A cable that goes to your computer and then a micro USB that goes to the PCB, but you need a way to connect to the Pi Zero. And
I'll leave a link.
Cana kit includes literally everything.
Yeah, I'll leave a link to it in the description for folks that are interested in potentially, because I don't know this is going to happen soon. I'm not like putting Mr. Encoder on the spot here, but like he did this quick. I mean, every week it's just something new, and we thought V4 with these features would be a ways out. But I think I would invest in it if you guys are interested in doing a backglass mod. There's a certain monitor that just drops right in, a 22-inch monitor that Cool Toy posted and people have purchased to do the PC version of the mod. That's what you want to use. I have a 4.3 monitor that I was just testing out just to get this working. So that's not an ideal monitor at all for this, because it's not going to fit in there. You want the 16:9 ratio monitor. But Mr. Encoder, I didn't ask you because we were testing out the Zen tables. Do you think the dynamic backglass would also register with the stock Arcade1Up Pinball tables? Do you have enough data to be able to run unique?
Yeah.
info from that?
So it's possible to do it. If when it first starts, I don't know how much effort I want to put into it. If we just first start it, I might get just display the stock backglass that comes with the tables. So like,
Yeah.
you know, your Star Wars graphics there, just make it to where if that app is launched, it just shows that instead.
Yeah.
Instead of like each individual table having its own. I think that would be reasonable.
I see. Yeah. So if you're running Attack from Mars, it would just be the Attack from Mars one versus the dynamic one for each table. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are gonna want more though, you know it. But or you can just purchase the table within the Zen tip pack, right? And then it would work there, right?
Except
It's called
you can't purchase Williams tables yet.
It's that old phrase: you give a mouse a cookie, they want a glass of milk. So you know, the more stuff you roll out, they're just going to keep asking for more. They're going to keep asking for more.
I think at some point, I really think at some point it's going to reach where people don't have anything more to ask for, if I'm being honest.
Well, I was asking you this today, like at what point do you just freaking put a PC in it, right? Like how much, like, yes, it's simple to the fact, right? But I don't know. Like when we were getting to there, I was like, man, this was so much easier for me to just put my PC in because I saw what you had to do. The work, by the way, that Mr. Encoder does on the back end to make this easy is not easy. Like the Android program, the GUI, everything, it's fucking amazing. So I mean, just
but
kudos.
aren't we at a point now where it's like, how much can I do before I have to put in a PC? I mean, have we gone down that rabbit hole where we just have to push the limits?
Well, so there are some potential options that we're not going to go into details about right now. But I'll just use the words upgrade kit and leave it at that.
Upgrade kit. Interesting. Hey, funny comment here from Solpress says port cabinet mode from Pinball Arcade Next. Well, check this out. Ask
I don't know.
and maybe you shall receive. What is this? What?
That's what's up right there.
What is going on? What?
Oh, now you're just dropping bombs. No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I'm on the side of the road on my cell phone, and I'm like leaning in. What is that? What is that?
Mr. Encoder, what did you just tease at like 3 a.m. last night sending it to me? It's like, oh, by the way, I just got Pinball Arcade working on my Arcade1Up Pinball machine. Like,
yeah, that's Pinball Arcade works. And I saw somebody complaining about how it didn't work well on their Pi. And people need to understand that Pis are not optimized very well at all. And it runs. So there's two things. One is that we can use older versions of Arcade Pinball that were designed for less powerful hardware. And two is the fact that it will run fine because Pis suck in terms of GPU in comparison. So that is Adam's Family in Arcade Pinball running on the Arcade1Up.
Yeah, and somebody was saying
a discontinued table, and people were a bit curious about that. Yeah,
it's not.
I mean,
it's not.
It was 3 a.m. and I just got it running. All right, give me a break.
I know. I was about to say it's like he just showed that it was working, and if you're gonna do it, I'm sure he's gonna do it right and have it full screen cabinet mode, everything. So I mean, that's
absolutely because it's gonna annoy the fuck out of me if it doesn't. Like I want to play too. It's not. I don't just do this to hand it to other people to complain about, assholes.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. But you did it. I mean, so CJ Buzzy, Laird, I mean, seeing now the future possibilities, has your wish list changed? Have the wishes been granted? Is there something else you're still looking for? This is a good opportunity to.
Into this
I need it on my machine. I need a creature on my machine now.
B's just opening doorways now. I mean, it's insane to think about what you could do with some of these machines. It's just, I mean, let's face it, we're all big kids. We've got these cool toys. And we've got this cool friend who knows what the heck to do with it. So now we're thinking about adding in different types of tables from outside of Zen. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, my wife and my kids are loving playing what we have now. But if I could show them some of the classic games that I've grown up playing, I mean, that's just even better for me. I get a lot of enjoyment just watching my family play. So that is cool beyond all reason, man. That's wild.
It's like he
had Space Cadet running on it.
It's like he said, Arcade Legends Ultimate. You know, you want the PC streaming. I'm working on it. You want the games that's from the toy shop. I'm working on it. You know, it's just like everything's in the pipeline. Anything you can think of, he's like, yeah. I mean, I'll get to it, but I'm working on it. It's amazing. It's just like I bow to your greatness, what your mastery of this. I mean,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just getting you
was
excited?
Pdub, not me. Pdub's the awesome one.
Dub.
me?
So yeah,
I'm
well,
awesome? What I do?
now that
What
you-
I do?
I just like put him on the spot.
I did get left out of the latest round of FUs though. I did hear about that, so I was a little disappointed I got left out. So
It's because you still haven't modded your shit because you're a slacker.
yeah, well, I'll get to it, bro. I'm busy, man, busy. But you know, I was kind of thinking you were talking about like obviously when you have like these cabinets, like you have all these games already. But when you're talking about modding the Arcade1Ups, you know, that X-Men cabinet is looking a little light on games. And wouldn't it be cool if you got like the Captain America game, the Spider-Man game, the Superman game, like make it just like a superhero cabinet, you know what I'm saying? Superhero themed beat 'em up game cabinet. Like that would be cool to get those games on that cabinet, you know, via a soft mod method. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the full disclosure for pretty much all Arcade1Up machines at this point that aren't the newer generation ones is that any one of them can be hacked in a very similar way to what's going on with the pinball. It's just a matter of porting that initial payload to each one of them so that it supports it. So there really is no limit to any of them that have those micro USB ports. I'll put it that way. As far as last generation, the newer ones that are coming out like Simpsons and so on, it's going to be more difficult, but we'll figure something out.
Do you have any thoughts on like the newer PCBs we've seen? Like the most recent one on Big Blue has an actual micro SD slot too.
Yes, so I'll be honest and say that I am. If anybody has pictures of that Big Blue, please post like the PCBs on Facebook, like the pictures of that PCB, because I really want to see like what the chipset is on it and stuff. I'll be honest though and say that the main reason why I bought the Simpsons cabinet was just because it had a new PCB in it. Like that was mostly the curiosity there is what is Arcade1Up doing now with this hardware? And part of it isn't just about hacking it, but part of it is like, where did they cut corners and how cheap is this shit now?
It's interesting. Yeah. So the Kodos will always win says the Big Blue is exactly the same as XVS and MBC, but there are some additional like there's new port. Yeah, maybe there's some new ports that they added because they added a micro SD slot and as well as an Ethernet port. But I guess maybe the chipset is the same. Is that right? The Codeverse wins. Oh yeah, so plus an Ethernet and SD part. So otherwise, the chipset he said is exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same. There he is. The T-call.
Okay.
Confirmed.
So it's
we'll have to
not
wait.
one of their newer ones yet. I will say, like, I'm not a fan of Killer Instinct necessarily either, but I'm really interested in seeing like what it took for them to emulate that in terms of processing power.
For science, we'll make it happen.
For science.
Yeah, I think that's something that every single one of us is curious about because in the community, everybody said that's an extremely demanding game. So it'll be interesting if like it lags or something, right? Like who knows what their idea of quality is. Do we get it at 30 FPS instead of 60 because they couldn't get it running properly?
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's something to be seen. I don't think we've seen true emulation on the actual Arcade1Up hardware, even from their fake video that they posted YouTube clips from. So it's gonna be interesting.
That was hilarious. That was funny.
Well, I just think it's funny because even on pinball, right, we got these Williams tables, and at first they ran like crap. Like, and there should have been a lot of things that they could have done, and it makes you wonder if they even played and tested that stuff themselves on the cabinet. Like, maybe Zen developed it, tested it in an emulator, and said, okay, it's good to go. We're going to deploy it on the cabinet and ship.
I think there's a lot of casual folks at like, is it good enough for the casual, right? Is it, are the hardcores going to notice it? But that's thought.
Well, interesting story. As you guys know, when the Toy Shock machine came out, it had some performance issues, right? Now, when
is that like your performance issues or
no? I'm talking like gameplay performance issues. So what's interesting is, though, here's what's funny is, because I have a relationship with Farsight Studios. The game was on the PCB board in the lab, optimized, running the way it should, 60 frames per second. And something happened where, that got sent over to then be to the factory for them to flash it onto all the boards. And something happened in between that messed it up, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say Zen didn't test it.
Do
I think
you
I think
want my
there's a
answer to what happened with the Toy Shock?
well, yeah, go ahead.
In their upgrade video, when they were talking about upgrading to that what is it, V1.1 PCB or whatever they called it, you can see that they're using a development board. So the problem, I assume, is what they did was shipped it with 2 gigs of RAM and had a development board that had more powerful processor, even though it was the same architecture, and never tested it on the real hardware that it was going to end up on in final production.
Yeah. Okay.
Just said, well, this is similar enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but I'm sure. I mean, why Zen? They have such a good reputation when it comes to their stuff. Like, it would be shocking to me that they didn't test their stuff prior to it being deployed. But then again, you never know, right? I mean, it did seem like everyone was in a rush to get their pinballs to market. If you remember that last year, everyone was in a rush to get their pinballs out. At Games, Arcade1Up, Well Played. They were all in a. So mistakes happen when you're in a rush, man.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, and that was what happened to them with Simpsons too. We heard it directly about the bowling wasn't working. They had performance issues. They kept pulling it up and off the page and then putting it back and then pulling it off again.
So we will find out as soon as we get Simpsons and some of the newer stuff. I would be happy to donate some stuff to science. In fact, I remember Mr. Encoder was saying, hey, I'm kind of curious about Toy Shock. I wonder if something could be done with it. I'm like, I have a Toy Shock. Do you want it? Like, Dubs, have you, besides a complete gut, have you ever seen anybody do anything else with the Toy Shock in terms of a mod?
All people have done is, if they've modded it, is they've done a gut mod. You know what I mean?
Mod.
Like I just gutted mine and I have it running Nintendo Switch. So, which is fun. I still need to get that video out. So, but I still have those PCBs, Emmy, if you want me to send them to you.
For science,
I would definitely take the updated PCB. I'm interested in the software running on there. I think I told somebody that's an arcade pinball or pinball arcade. Pinball arcade. I always mix it up. I think it's pinball arcade.
Yeah, pinball arcade back.
It is pinball arcade running on there. It's a modified version of it made for that table. And somebody in here was talking about, cabinet mode's only in the PC version. No, it's embedded in the Android version because that's what's running on the Toy Shock.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, there was just one thing about the Toy Shock that I did like was the simple front end. So I mean, they win from a simple usability standpoint that I liked as much. But for science, so we've been chatting for over an hour. Thank you so much, Mr. Encoder, for kind of joining in and really just shooting the shit. This was a really late stream that idea came about super late last night. I was like, hey, I don't really have like a solid topic. Yeah. Can we share some shit? And we did it. And so my stream today, everybody, is what prompted Mr. Encoder to get off his ass and do some coding at 2 a.m. so we can get a freaking full stream DMV. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
It was already
Mr.
working
Encoder, for the
before
motivation.
Your stream.
I'm kidding.
It was already somewhat working before your stream. No,
it was.
I'm honestly surprised it is working. Right, like we were sitting there 30 minutes before this started. Like, oh shit, it broke again. How do we fix it?
Yeah, it was a nice marathon, but happy to be a guinea pig. So CJ Buzzy, kind of just do a quick round of horn. Like, any final thoughts for this mod? Things you want to see? Things you want to say to the community?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to what's down the road. Like, when is Arcade1Up gonna announce any Gen 2 pinball cabinets, and like how has what Mystery Encoder done to the community and brought to the table of what's already in the market? How is that going to change them moving forward? Because they're aware of the mod and it's unofficially supported. by at least John D saying like, coder's going to code, modder's going to mod. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the pinballs moving forward. Like, are we going to get Williams pinball tables that Mystery Encoder can't seem to get on the table? Is that going to force them in that direction? Like, I want to see a market where we can buy games,
Yeah, interesting. Cool. That's a good point. I'm really curious about the next phase.
Well, there was a photo that just came out on social media somewhere. I forgot where it was, and it was John D was next to Arcade1Up pinball machines, and one of them was blurred out.
I saw that.
A whole bunch of yellow coloring.
Yeah,
and people were trying to get. So there
photo,
there is another pinball machine out there, and they blurred it out.
That photo was over a year old, by the way.
Oh, that was an old one. Okay,
yeah, that might be.
I thought that was
might be
new.
what.
Yeah,
I thought that was.
I investigated that because I was curious about it too, and it really looked like it was a universal table.
Universal, yeah.
But if it was, that makes you wonder what 10 they'd even be putting on it at that point if they were to follow suit with the rest of these ones.
Yeah, I remember we saw the box at least for the Universal, so interesting to see. But now you have the ability to download them through Zen Pinball. There you go. Zen Membrano says, "Stop saying my name every third time. I feel like I'm going to appear in some room and knock you out with an Arcade1Up machine." So Zen has the name that we're saying, Zen Pinball. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. Laird, any kind of final thoughts that you have about the mod and bringing joy to the peoples, man?
I just think that it's exciting to be able to look forward to doing more things with this cabinet. As far as different arcades, I mean, as long as I can tinker with something, even if I know I'm not really in the know on how to do it, I still enjoy doing it. And I think that's part of the fun in this is I've been successful in making these mods work. I mean, all I did was follow some instructions, but I had so much fun doing it, and I know a lot of other people are. And I think that's the big thing to remember is, somebody's helping us have some fun, and then we just need to help each other out. That's the fun part of this for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Laird, for sharing your passion, enthusiasm. Your initial video of like V3 working kind of got a lot of people
I'm just a big
excited.
kid, man. What can I say? I'm a goofball at heart. So
you're one of the first. I'm glad you figured it out like without much support and help. So I mean, it inspired Mystery Encoder to keep going.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was cool. All right, Dubs, when are you gonna get off your ass and do V3.1?
I'm gonna do it this weekend for sure. So look forward to checking that out. And if I can get some early access, I got like Raspberry Pis all over this house. Let me know. I'd love to get that Backglass up and running. I think you guys are doing great work. Keep it up. This is my kind of thing. A lot of people know me if you know my channel. I love multicades. I love having as many games as possible on a single device. So this stuff personally excites me, the work that you're doing. I know some people, although they have access to this, might not want to do this because, they like having, I want to have, if Arcade1Up releases 6 pinball machines, I want to have all 6. Some people are like that because they want to emulate an arcade in their home, and that's totally fine. But this stuff excites me personally. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up. And I'm ready to update, man. I'm ready to update.
So the biggest question for you, Dubs, is like, how did you do double voices and double duty? Because I think we really know who the mystery encoder is now.
It's stop! No, that's not. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't need any legal documents sent to my house.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've been you the whole time.
Yeah.
Double duty. All right, mystery encoder, aka dub coder. Any final thoughts about the good work that you're doing?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify on the point that somebody asked about V3.2 coming out this week. There isn't gonna be a minor version coming out. The next one is V4, and it's gonna be as much as possible that can be put into it. I don't like the idea of releasing minor things. The only reason why 3.1 was released is because people like Chris Reed wouldn't stop bitching about it.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, he's right here too, by the way. So for folks that don't know, CJ Buzzy is Chris. So you helped 3.1 come to life.
CJ
that's good.
Buzzy wouldn't stop bitching about it. No, I'm joking. I really appreciate everything that he's done helping the community get solenoids working and stuff. And I forget the other person's name as well. There was a female that was helping.
Katie Chancellor.
But yeah, and I, and I shouted that Katie, and I shouted them out in that in the README or the change log or whatever it was, because it is appreciated, right? Like, I was planning on going and making all of those configs, and for the community to do it, that saves me the work of doing it, which means I have time to work on other things like DMD.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a village to make this happen. We want to see community support. So if you're interested in helping and connecting, if you have some of the technical background and are interested in helping support this, there is an MCAP Discord, which I'll drop a link in the description. That is a place for people to support and kind of connect. So check us out in the Discord channel there to get support there. Thank you, CJ Buzzy, Laird, Dubs, Mystery Encoder, as always. Big FUs. I just want to also plug one final thing for me. I will be doing a solo show on Sunday, doing my Sunday Fun Day show, and I have a really awesome guest for folks. I think he's like the village bicycle now, because it's finally my turn. But John effing D is gonna join me on a Halloween stream this Sunday. But we're not gonna do the same Ask Me Anything thing. We're gonna do a truth, shot, or dare stream, where we're going to be doing some fun things with Mrs. Kong's or Us and do a truth or dare stream with John D. So that's the plan for everything that we're going to do, to see how fun it is and check it out. And besides that, have a great rest of your day. Great night, everybody. Let me know if there's anything you want to ask John D. He might not do it because he can take a shot or do a dare instead. I'm going to dare him to prank call Scott Backrat or somebody else and see what's up. So it should be pretty fun. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next time. Take care. Bye. I forgot, for Mystery Encoder, you got to do your final FUs one more time.
I just said fuck Zohar. That was it.
That was it? That was the final one?
Yeah, that was it. I just said fuck Zohar.
All right, there it is. All right, thanks everybody.